It's one of the biggest questions we can ask about ourselves. Why do we believe in gods? Why do we build temples, say prayers, and perform rituals? From an evolutionary standpoint, it looks strange. Really strange. Evolution is supposed to be about survival and reproduction. It's about finding food, avoiding predators, and having kids who have kids. It's a practical, gritty process. And then there's religion. It asks people to spend hours in prayer instead of hunting. It asks for precious resources to be sacrificed or used to build monuments. In some cases, it asks its most devout followers to be celibate, which is a direct dead end for their genes. It can lead to wars that kill millions. On the surface, religion looks like a terrible strategy for survival. It seems costly, inefficient, and based on things we can't see or prove, so why is it everywhere? Across every culture, in every corner of the world, throughout all of human history, people have had some form of religion or spirituality. It's as human as language or tool making. If something is this universal and this costly, evolution has two main ways of explaining it. Either it was a huge mistake, a sort of bug in our mental software that just won't go away. Or, despite the costs, it provided some kind of powerful benefit that helped us survive and thrive. So, did religion evolve for a reason? The short answer is almost certainly yes. But the long answer is more complicated. It's a story about how our brains work, how we learn to live together in large groups, and how we deal with the terror and wonder of being alive. It's not one simple answer, but a few big ideas that probably all work together. Let's start with the first big idea. This one says that religion isn't an adaptation itself. It's a byproduct, it's a side effect of other things that our brains evolved to do for very practical reasons. Think of it like this. The purpose of your nose is to breathe and to smell. A side effect is that it can hold up your glasses. Our brains have a bunch of these tools that were great for survival in the ancient world. And when you put them all together, they just happen to create the perfect conditions for religious belief to sprout. One of the most important tools is something called an agency detection device. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is simple. We are hardwired to see intention or agency in the world around us. Imagine you're an early human walking through the tall grass. You hear a rustle. You have two choices. You can assume it's just the wind, or you can assume it's a lion getting ready to pounce. If you assume it's the wind and you're right, you just keep walking. If you assume it's the wind and you're wrong, you're lunch. Your genes are gone. But if you assume it's a lion and you're right, you run away and survive. If you assume it's a lion and you're wrong, you just look a little silly for a second. The cost of a false positive seeing a lion where there is none is tiny. The cost of a false negative missing a lion that is actually there is catastrophic. So, evolution built us with a hyperactive agency detection device. We see faces in the clouds, we yell at our computer when it freezes, we feel like the universe is out to get us when we have a bad day. We are primed to see minds and intentions everywhere, even in inanimate objects and random events. It was a good survival strategy, but this same system makes it very easy to see intention behind the big things we can't explain. Why did the thunder crash? An angry agent must have caused it. Why did the rains fail and our crops die? A powerful, invisible agent must be displeased. Why did the sun rise this morning? A powerful agent must have commanded it. This way of thinking isn't a huge leap. It's just our overactive line detector being applied to the whole world. It lays the groundwork for spirits, ghosts, and gods. Another mental tool is our theory of mind. This is our ability to understand that other people have minds of their own, with their own beliefs, desires, and intentions. I know that you have thoughts in your head that are different from the thoughts in my head. This is crucial for social living. It allows us to empathize, cooperate, deceive, and predict what others will do. It's how society functions, but we can apply this tool to other things too. Once our agency detection system proposes an invisible agent behind the thunderstorm, our theory of mind kicks in. We start to wonder what that agent wants. What does it believe? What are its intentions? Does it want to sacrifice? Does it want us to behave in a certain way? We start to build a relationship with this invisible agent, just like we would with another person. So we are trying to figure out the mind of a god. Then you add our need for answers. Our humans are causal creatures. We can't stand not knowing why something happened. If a child gets sick, we need a reason. If a hunt is successful, we need a reason. In a world without science, supernatural explanations are the most obvious ones. The spirits were angry, or the gods were pleased, are powerful, satisfying answers. They provide a sense of order and control in a chaotic and unpredictable world. It feels better to believe a god is punishing you because at least that means someone is in charge. The alternative, that things just happen for no reason at all, can be much more terrifying. So you can see how the basic ingredients for religion might just be side effects of a normal, healthy human brain. An overactive agency detector gives us the idea of invisible beings. Our theory of mind lets us have a relationship with them, and our search for causes makes them the explanation for everything we don't understand. From this perspective, religion wasn't selected for, it just hitched a ride on other useful mental traits. It's the glasses on our nose, it wasn't the point, but it fits perfectly. But there's a problem with this idea. It explains why people might believe in ghosts or wood spirits, it explains superstition. But it doesn't do a great job of explaining modern, organized religion. It doesn't explain why people would form huge groups, all believing in the same powerful, moralizing God who cares deeply about how you treat other people, especially strangers. It doesn't explain the enormous personal and group sacrifices made in the name of these gods. The byproduct theory explains the spark, but it doesn't fully explain the wildfire that is organized religion. This brings us to the second big idea. This idea says that religion is an adaptation. It argues that while the cognitive tools might have been byproducts, religion itself was shaped by evolution because it helped groups of humans survive. Specifically, it helped them solve one of the biggest problems that any social species faces: cooperation. That humans are not the strongest or the fastest animals. Our superpower is our ability to work together. A lone human is vulnerable. A group of 100 humans cooperating can take down a mammoth, build a village, and defend against rivals. But cooperation is tricky. There's always the temptation to be a free rider. The free rider is the person who takes the benefits of the group without paying the costs. He eats the mammoth meat, but he didn't help with the dangerous hunt. He enjoys the safety of the village, but he didn't help build the wall. In a small group of, say, 30 people, it's easy to manage free riders. Everybody knows everybody. Your reputations matter. If you're lazy or a cheat, people will notice, and they will punish you, gossip about you, or kick you out. Social pressure works well in a small community, but what happens when the group gets bigger? What happens when you have a village of 200 people or a town of 1,000? You can't know everyone personally anymore. You start interacting with strangers. How can you trust them? How do you prevent society from collapsing into a selfish mess where no one cooperates? This is where religion may have stepped in. It provided a solution. The key innovation seems to have been the invention of big gods. These weren't the local river spirits or mischievous forest sprites of earlier beliefs. These were powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing deities who cared about morality. They didn't just care about whether you performed the right ritual, they cared about whether you lied, cheated, or stole. And crucially, you couldn't hide from them. Think about the effect this has on cooperation. If you believe that a supernatural police officer is watching you 24/7, and that this officer can read your thoughts and will punish you for your transgressions, maybe not today, but in the afterlife for sure, how does that change your behavior? You're much less likely to cheat that stranger, even if you know you could get away with it. The fear of divine punishment acts as a powerful deterrent. It makes people behave themselves, even when no one is watching. This idea is sometimes called the supernatural punishment hypothesis. It suggests that groups that developed a belief in these kinds of moralizing big gods had an edge. Their members were more cooperative with each other, they could build more trust and cohesion. This allowed them to form larger, more powerful societies. A group of 500 believers in a watchful, punishing God could easily outcompete a group of 500 disorganized, untrusting individuals. The religious group could field a more disciplined army, build better irrigation projects, and create more stable trade networks. Over time, the groups with the most effective cooperation-boosting religions would grow and spread, while other groups would be absorbed or die out. And religion, in this view, is a kind of social glue. It takes a large group of strangers and turns them into a single moral community. The shared beliefs, rituals, and values bind people together. Going to a weekly service, praying together, celebrating the same holidays, all of these things create a powerful sense of shared identity and belonging. It creates an us. You know that another member of your religion shares your deepest convictions about how the world works and how one should behave. You can trust them more easily, and religion makes this trust even stronger through what are called costly signals. A costly signal is an action that is so expensive or difficult to perform that it's hard to fake. It proves your commitment. In many religions, these signals are everywhere. Fasting for a month, tithing a percentage of your income, going on a long, arduous pilgrimage. Enduring a painful initiation ceremony. These things are not easy. A free rider or a half-hearted member isn't going to bother. But by performing these costly acts, believers signal to everyone else in the group, I am serious about this. I am a committed member. You can trust me. This helps the group weed out the fakers and solidify the loyalty of the true believers. So, this adaptationist view paints a very different picture. Religion isn't just a bug in our mental software. It's a piece of cultural technology that was selected for because it helped us build large, successful societies. It allowed us to scale up from small family-based bands to the massive anonymous civilizations we live in today. It was the glue that held us together before we invented things like police forces, courts, and modern governments. So which one is it? Is religion a useless byproduct of our brain's quirks, or is it a powerful adaptation for group living? The most likely answer is that it's both. The two ideas don't have to be in opposition. They can work together in a sequence. The byproduct theory probably explains the origin of religious thinking. Our brains evolved with these cognitive tendencies to see agency everywhere, to think about the minds of others, to search for causes. This created the raw material. It made belief in supernatural beings a natural, intuitive, and almost unavoidable part of human psychology. It explains why some form of spiritual belief is universal. But then, cultural evolution took over. Humans don't just pass on genes. We pass on ideas, beliefs, and practices. This is culture. And culture evolves. Different groups of humans had different sets of cultural ideas, including different religious ideas. Some groups might have had simple beliefs in ancestor spirits. Others might have had gods who demanded strange rituals but didn't care about morality. And some, by chance or by design, developed beliefs in big, moralizing gods who demanded cooperation. This is where natural selection could have started to act, not on genes, but on cultures. The groups whose religious beliefs did the best job of uniting their members and promoting cooperation were the ones that succeeded. They grew larger, they conquered their neighbors, and they spread their beliefs. The religions that were good at being social glue were the ones that survived and expanded. The ones that weren't withered and died. So the capacity for religious belief is a byproduct of our cognitive architecture. But the specific forms of religion that have come to dominate the world, the big, organized faiths with moralizing gods, are likely cultural adaptations that were selected for their ability to foster large-scale cooperation. It's a two-step process. First, our evolved psychology made us religiously inclined animals. Then, cultural evolution shaped that inclination into a tool for building societies. This view helps explain some of the most puzzling aspects of religion, explains its dual nature. A religion can inspire incredible acts of charity, self-sacrifice, and love. It binds communities together and gives people a sense of purpose and meaning. This is the in-group cooperation part. It makes us stronger, but religion has also been used to justify slavery, holy wars, and persecution. This is the dark side of the same coin. The powerful sense of us that religion creates also creates a powerful sense of them. The same mechanism that promotes cooperation inside the group can promote hostility and conflict with those outside the group. Evolution doesn't care if a trait is good or bad in a moral sense. It only cares if it works. And for much of human history, a strategy of in-group solidarity and out-group hostility worked very well for survival. This evolutionary perspective also helps us understand why religion is so persistent, even in a modern scientific world. It's not just a set of bad ideas that people will eventually discard once they learn enough science. It's tapping into something much deeper. It's woven into our cognitive wiring. It plugs into our deep-seated need for community, our desire for meaning, and the very way our brains are built to understand the world. The comfort people find in religion is real. The sense of belonging is real. The moral guidance it provides is real. For millions of people, believing that a higher power is watching over them, that their life has a purpose, and that there is justice after death provides an enormous psychological benefit. It can be a powerful antidote to the anxiety and meaninglessness that can come with being a self-aware creature on a small planet in a vast and different universe. This feeling of comfort and purpose might not have been the reason religion originally evolved, but it's certainly part of the reason it sticks around. It soothes our evolved anxieties. So, when we ask if religion evolved for a reason, we're asking a question about our own nature. The answer isn't simple. It didn't pop into existence for one single purpose. It seems to be the result of a long, messy process. It started with a brain that evolved to survive in a dangerous world, a brain that saw intention everywhere and demanded answers for everything. This gave us the capacity for belief. Then, as we began to live in larger and larger groups, that basic capacity was harnessed and shaped by cultural forces. Beliefs that made groups more cohesive and cooperative or more successful. The idea of all-seeing moral gods became a brilliant, if accidental, solution to the problem of keeping society from falling apart. Religion, then, is not an evolutionary mistake. It's one of our most successful and enduring inventions. It's a testament to our species' unique ability to use stories, symbols, and shared beliefs to overcome our selfish impulses and work together on a massive scale. It's a complex and often contradictory part of who we are, a product of ancient survival instincts playing out in a modern world. It is deeply, fundamentally, and perhaps unavoidably human. And understanding where it came from doesn't diminish its power. It just helps us understand ourselves a little bit better. It shows us that the search for meaning, the need for community, and the whisper of agency in the wind have been with us from the very beginning.